Holy moly! What was that?
Did I scare you?
Grinny, I should have known it was you.
I'm a peregrine falcon. I'm the fastest bird of all.
I'm the slowest dog of all. Except when the dog warden's around. Run for it!
Come out, Sherlock. That's not a dog warden. That's a scientist working with baby peregrine falcons. Probably cousins of mine. He's taking them to the top of a building 'cause we like high places.
I thought birds lived in nests until they grow up.
We do, but we peregrines are endangered.
No kidding, with all that crazy flying you do.
Not danger. Endangered. There aren't many of us left. We could become extinct.
You mean so long? Goodbye? Forever?
Forever.
You need a safer place to live.
The humans are trying to help us.
Maybe you could live in my backyard, on top of my doghouse.
Not high enough. I'd hit my head trying to dive from there.
I don't do this very often, but I could share my food with you.
No thanks. I hunt my own food. I might even be moving soon.
But you're my buddy.
I know, Sherlock, but I have to go start a family.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd do without my owner, Mandy. Where do you think you'll go?
I don't know. It's hard to find good places to live. Polluted water is hurting my friends, the mollusks. They're like clams. They're not pretty like me, but they're important animals, too. Pollution made it hard for my pal, the river otter, to find food. My buddy barn owl looks for food in big fields of grass called meadows. Ohio used to have lots of meadows, but not now. My friends could become extinct.
There's that nasty word again, extinct. Gee, I didn't know so many of our animal friends are in trouble. I have some S.O.S. pals who can help. Don't take off without saying goodbye, Grinny.
I won't.
Sherlock, where are you going in such a hurry?
Boy, I better get in shape.
So, what's up, boy?
I'll tell you after a double cheese pizza with marshmallows on it.
Where did you get this pamphlet on endangered species? I didn't know we had so many animals that need help. There must be something we can do.
Time to contact the Track Pack.
S.O.S. trackers. Sherlock needs us to track down ways we can help Grinny and her friends.
Trackers, come with us to meet some experts before we decide how to help. Right after my nap.
Come on, Sherlock. I know some places we can go. Sherlock's friend, Grinny, is a peregrine falcon. She and some of her friends are endangered. We want to know more about Grinny and barn owl so we can help them. How do you know when a species is endangered?
Well, scientists who are studying an animal or a group of animals may get concerned because their numbers are declining. There are fewer of them around. And they will come to the Division of Wildlife and say, we're very concerned about this. Can we look at it more closely?
Then what then would you do when you're sure they're endangered?
We take a look at those problems that the animals have. What are the threats? What are causing them difficulty? And see what we can do to change that. In the case of barn owls, it might be something simple like putting up a nest box in the barn so that the eggs don't roll off the beams. Although we can't do much about the farmer who decides to go from pasture land where that barn owl would hunt to planting corn or wheat, for example.
What are some of the species on Ohio's endangered list?
Well, bald eagle for one, of course, and that's also on the federal list. We have 116 species in Ohio, some of them familiar like the peregrine falcon or the bobcat that you'd recognize, but some that you might not. For example, hellbenders and pink muckets, which are a mollusk, a clam.
Now, have any of them been saved?
Well, we've taken some species off our endangered list, but it's because we found out that they didn't have the serious problems we thought they did. We're looking, however, in the near future that maybe peregrine falcon will have recovered and actually be self-sustaining and ready to go out on its own without being an endangered species.
How do you know when they are, in fact, saved?
Well, we look at numbers to begin with, but we also look at those threats that were causing the problems. With peregrine falcons, the problems were DDT. That's been pretty well licked, and now that they're nesting in our cities in Ohio, they're doing very well. Would you like to go look at some things?
Sure.
Come on.
So, how big of a problem is water pollution for the river otter?
It's really not much of a problem anymore.
But I thought water pollution was a big problem for animals.
Well, it can be in some cases, but in the situation with river otters, things are pretty well under control. River otters had several water-related problems. The first was chemical contaminants, like DDT. That's pretty well solved now. Another problem was things in the water, like sawdust or oil, things that matted the river otter fur and kept it from staying warm, especially during the wintertime. Another problem that those things caused, blood from slaughterhouses and sawdust, was used up the oxygen in the water, and that killed the river otter's food, like fish and frogs and crayfish. That's pretty well under control. There is another type of water pollution that doesn't really cause the river otter and its food much problem, but can be difficult for other endangered species, and that's dirt, silt in the water. When that settles out, it can cover the animals that live on the bottom, like mollusks, for example, or aquatic insects, and kill them.
So we could give Sherlock a bath with that water?
Sure. Might come out a little green, though.
Bath? Green? I'm out of here.
Thanks. We've got lots more good information.
It was my pleasure.
One last thing. Where's the nearest pizza shop?
Let's go, Sherlock. This endangered species problem needs a pack attack. Let's call the trackers.
Operation Dog Tracks. Operation Dog Tracks. Come in.
Not like that. S.O.S. trackers. Create a map or model of a refuge for endangered species.
Don't forget, Track Pack. Keep the nature of our mission a secret. S.O.S. Signing off.
We've shifted gears a little bit with Grinny's Danger, and our major curriculum area is science. The processes your students will engage in this unit are research, problem solving, decision making, collaboration, and model building. And once again, the objectives for this unit are listed in the teacher's guide, and they were based on standards that are nationally accepted. The procedure for this program is terrifically exciting for your students. They are going to conduct research on endangered species that they select. They're going to collaborate with their classmates to create one classroom model that will try to save the animals that they've selected. We have some special advice based on the teachers that have done this project before. They decided that you really need to provide ample time for your small groups and large groups to discuss the issues, both about specific animals and about the model in general. There are many important decisions that they need to make, and so open discussion is a very valuable thing for your students to have. Our teachers have also suggested that the cooperation that the students experienced in the previous programs made that the collaboration for the entire class went much easier, so it's something that you can look forward to. If you're interested in using technology to enhance this unit, there are many wonderful databases of information on electronic encyclopedias, Laserdisc, CD-ROM, and of course instructional television programs. They will provide wonderful video and other print material about the animals your students have selected. Once they have that information, they may want to use the computer to put their information on a database, and of course there are marvelous desktop publishing programs that can allow your students to create beautiful stories with the information they've collected.
I wanted my students to prepare a database. It was something that was new to them and new to me too. I didn't think it would work, but I thought I'm going to try it just because I'm looking for all new ways to make my children love coming to school. It worked. It was a perfect idea. The children went back and forth to their database to get more information to complete their project. This is the infamous database that my students created. To show you one example of how we used it, we had to create a refuge. We used the size The students picked the largest animal here, which was the great white shark, and then everything else in the refuge they made in proportion to that animal. They did a great job. I was really proud of what they did.
What I liked about this project, it brought in cause and effect, problem solving, decision making. Yes, they learned mathematics and language and a lot of social studies from this.
Did you have fun doing this?
Yes.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
What?
Well, how to draw different kinds of animals and what kind of environment they need to live in to survive and what resources they need. I drew the cheetah and I colored it and I colored that. I drew that. I did the birds, the cloud, the tree, and the cave. I helped color the sky. I drew the claws on the cheetah up there, and I drew the moss on the rock. I did the spots, and I helped color the sky.
And once they made the decision, then they went back in their groups and researched and found out what they could about their animal. Then we took and did a database on it, and they needed to figure out which ones would be the best choice, and then they chose them and went from there.
How did you know that this is what a bobcat looks like?
Because Mrs. Gamber got us information from our computer, and she gave us a picture of the bobcat.
This, I felt, also was the most difficult, but it was also the easiest because by now they know how to get an encyclopedia. They know where to go to research. After all three of the different projects we've had, it's very easy for them to go to the atlas, go to the encyclopedia, go to the computer. They know right where to go.
Secrets of Sherlock has been developed as a student motivator. In other words, the series will be useful in the classroom to get students excited about learning. There's an old Chinese proverb that goes, I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. We've tried to incorporate that philosophy into the Secrets of Sherlock program. The driving force behind the series is that student-centered learning is the most appropriate method to prepare students for the proficiency test. The classroom activities contained in the teacher's guide incorporate cooperative learning with a hands-on approach. Research has shown that when cooperative learning and project-based methods of teaching are used, it creates active involvement for the students, which results in better understanding. Our strategy is to give students basic facts for which they can construct their own in-depth understanding of the subject. Secrets of Sherlock will not teach what is on the test. However, it will prepare students to organize information efficiently, which in turn will allow them to handle the information presented on the test better. The classroom teacher will provide the content students need to know for the proficiency test. Using the Secrets of Sherlock TV programs and classroom activities will help students develop strategies useful in taking the test. As George Bernard Shaw once said, what we want is to see the child in pursuit of knowledge, not knowledge in pursuit of the child.
1, 2, 3.
Bye!